Alright, everyone, good morning. Today is Sunday, June 30th, 2024, at 10:29, last day of June. And we close out June today with an enhanced risk over here in a little bit of New Jersey, a little bit of Pennsylvania, mainly near Philadelphia, New Jersey into New York State, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut. So those are the states we've got going on today. We also have a slight risk here extending across North Carolina through Virginia, Delmarva, even into Maryland, into Pennsylvania, New York State, Connecticut, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine. All of Maine is under a slight. We do also have a slight risk out here in Montana, a little bit of North Dakota. We also do have a marginal extending from Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee, North Carolina, Kentucky, West Virginia, Virginia, Pennsylvania, Maryland, New York State, Vermont, and a little bit of New Hampshire. We also have one out here that extends, if you can see that, a little bit of Arizona, New Mexico, Utah, Colorado, up into Nebraska, South Dakota, North Dakota, Wyoming, Montana, and a little bit of Idaho. So, and one out in Arizona. So, there you have it. That's our today's risk. Let's see what we've got for today's risk. So we got New York, Philadelphia, Boston, Newark, and Jersey City under an enhanced. Baltimore, Washington, D.C., Virginia Beach, Raleigh, and Norfolk under a slight. And Phoenix, Charlotte, Denver, Tucson, and Mesa under a marginal. Let's see what we've got for today's tornado risk. Wow, only at 2%? Okay, that's a little bit of Delmarva, Maryland, Delaware, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York State, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, into Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. So, wow, okay, only a 2% tornado risk, evidently. So, anyway, New York, Philadelphia, Boston, Newark, and Jersey City having a tornado risk of 2%. Anyway, here is our damaging wind threat for today. We have a 30% across the enhanced risk area. New Jersey, Pennsylvania, up into New York State, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and then we've got a 15% across North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, Pennsylvania, New York State, Connecticut, and then Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. We also do have a 15% across mainly Montana and a little bit of North Dakota. This 5% extends from Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee, North Carolina, Kentucky, Virginia, West Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania, New York State, Vermont, and New Hampshire. And then we also have one out here, and a little bit of Utah, a little bit of Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, out into a little bit of Kansas, if you can see that, up into Nebraska, Wyoming, South Dakota, North Dakota, Montana, and Idaho, and one out here in Arizona. So today's wind risk, let's see, we've got New York, Philadelphia, Boston, Newark, and Jersey City under a 30%. Baltimore, Washington, D.C., Virginia Beach, Raleigh, and Norfolk under a 15%. And Phoenix, Charlotte, Denver, Tucson, and Mesa under a 5%. So definitely I would say damaging winds up here. 60 to 80 miles per hour could be possible. Same thing with the 15% and 5%. You might see 60 to 70 miles per hour. I forgot to mention the tornado risk up here. You could see a tornado or two if one develops. EF0, maybe EF1. But I don't think it's going to be that strong. Anyway, today's hail risk. We've got out here, we've got Virginia, D.C., Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, up into Connecticut, Rhode Island, New York State, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. We also have one out here, 5% in a little bit of Arizona, New Mexico, Utah, Colorado, a little bit of Kansas, Nebraska, Wyoming, South Dakota, North Dakota, Montana, and a little bit of Idaho. And this 15% across parts of Montana and a little bit of North Dakota. So let's see what we've got. And mainly out west, but, you know, some things near here too. Billings, Williston, Mike City, Laurel, and Glendive under a 15%, and New York, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Boston, and Denver having a 5%. So definitely I would say, especially out here, hailstones be 1 to 3 inches. 5% I would say 1 to 2 inch hail. Anyway, let's see what the Storm Prediction Center says for today. Scattered damaging winds will be possible across parts of the northeast and mid-Atlantic states this afternoon and evening. Hail and damaging winds may also occur from eastern Montana into western North Dakota. So, whoop, and I just reset just in time. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed. Stay weather aware, stay safe, and keep an eye on the sky. And that's going to be it, and I will see you tomorrow for the July edition. So, happy last day of June, and I will see you tomorrow in July.